It is the manager for your Texas Rangers, Bruce Bochy. Good afternoon, sir.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
Well, I know a lot of people can get caught up with this is the record in the last 10 games or this or that, but how important is it to just get that one win? And maybe that can be the thing that sparks things.
Well, anytime you're in a rut like we've been in, it's huge to get a win, which we got one there in Minnesota. The disappointing part, I think, when you look at this stretch, is we have had a couple games get away from us, which would not have made this stretch such a bad one. We've had some pretty good pitching. I mean, you go back to, you get 8 shutout innings from Montgomery, and we just couldn't get a win there. And we had a one-run lead a couple of days ago. We couldn't hold on that one. And so, anyway, when you bounce back like we did last night, well, that's big to get a win, especially when you're down. Eighth inning, we had the bases loaded. We got a run, came up a little bit short, and then Duran gets a big double. Second and third, next 2 guys strike out. That can be deflating. But when they get that hit last night, I can't tell you what a lift that was for the ball club. You could feel it, you could sense it. When he got it and in the clubhouse, hopefully something like that is what gets the momentum back on our side and get back to winning some ball games.
I am so glad you just used that specific word, because we have discussed momentum a lot on this show, and somebody that you might have already talked to on the phone doesn't particularly believe in sports momentum. Do you think the momentum from a win like last night carries over to today, or is it brand new game, brand new circumstance, different?
Well, I think it can. It certainly can work the other way, as you saw when you go through a losing streak, or if you're losing games late. It's like the feeling can almost be, oh no, is it going to happen again? I'm not saying that's what happened with us, but I've seen it happen, and so same thing when you win a game like we did last night. Hey, we've done it. We can do it again. Now, that day's, that night or that day's pitcher, now, he's the momentum guy. Let's be honest here. We're facing a really good lefty today, and, we'll have our hands full with that. We need Andrew to pitch well, because Quintana's been throwing the ball well, too. So he's the one that really creates momentum, I think, as that starting pitcher.
Boch, last night in the post-game interviews, Jose Leclerc talked about that he was not told before the game that he could possibly be the closer or the closer. He said, look, I prepare to pitch the 7th or 8th inning, but I'm prepared to do what is asked of me. And he said even, hey, yeah, I knew there was pressure. There's a little bit of nerves, but he had a great outing. I was wondering, when you're meeting with Maddox, let's just say at kind of 1 o'clock, well before a game, and looking at your bullpen and who's available, who's not available, who you want to get rest, who you could possibly use in those situations. Was it just the Pete Alonso leading off that you wanted Leclerc to start off that inning, or did you know maybe at kind of 1 o'clock or so that, hey, we're going to use Leclerc tonight if we have a close situation?
Well, talking to Mike as we go through the game plan, you've heard me mention these pockets that they had. They had a lot of left-handers out there, so Smitty was available. Burke was down. Leclerc was available. We had Otto, and, of course, we had Martin Perez. So, Martin would be probably our bridge to whoever closed the game between Smitty or Leclerc, depending on who was coming up. Now, I'll be honest, when Martin Perez, the way he was throwing the ball, that was not an easy decision to take him out. Alonso's 0 for 11 off him. And then, they had the left-hander on deck. I'm sure, that they were going to hit for him. But with the way Jose's been throwing the ball, I said, he's going to close this one out. We had Smitty to pick him up because they had pretty much made all their moves, and I could have used him to face the last hitter, but I liked the way he was throwing the ball. But Smitty was getting up at that time, or starting to get up, and to help out Jose. So anyway, that's why Jose was not told he would close the game, because that was not a definite.
Well, with Jose Leclerc in this season with him, has it been more about like confidence in his inconsistencies, or has it been his stuff? Like, what has been your kind of assessment on what he needed to grow at?
I'd say more than anything is confidence. I think he got shaken early. He admitted it. I know there was a time when, I think he wanted to get in there and a bit of a softer landing just to get his stuff back to where it was, his command. They got away from him. He was using his changeup quite a bit. He got away from his fastball. Now, I'll add this. In spring training, he was dealing with a little issue. He had a little neck thing going on, and I really think it was affecting him more than he was saying. He's such a tough kid. He wants to be out there. But if you remember, he was going to pitch for the Dominican Republic in the WBC.
Right.
But because of, the treatment he was getting on his neck, whatever, we had to tell him, we can't let you go. We have to get you right. So I don't think he was quite right when we started the season, and so he was battling that. But looks like he's over that. If you look at his velocity, it's better. It's really picked up. The crispness of his pitches, he's got that cutter that's working well for him. But he also has a good changeup. But he's changing speeds a little bit, a bit more than what he was doing. So, but confidence grows, and then you're going to pitch better. That's just the way it is. Same with hitting.
Was Jonathan Hernandez always just going to be a stopover, or was it that specific outing that you're like, we still got some stuff to work on?
Well, we got in a bind where something happened. We needed some length, and Otto could give us that, and so that was kind of the reason why we made that move. Now, if Johnny doesn't pitch, or obviously if we didn't use the staff as much as we did on Sunday, then we probably wouldn't have made the move, to be honest. But you look at last night, we had Martin Perez, we had Otto, we had Smitty, and Leclerc, and that was pretty much it. And two guys are short guys, and so that thing, those extra innings, Otto would have been better. He would have been our length once we used up Martin Perez. So something would have happened. They say Leclerc goes out there and they tie the game. Well, we needed someone to give us that, and that's what Otto was here for.
So, Boch, sometimes obviously fans / our listeners really like blaming coaches. And so
we should take the blame.
It's because they're like, well, what's Maddox doing with the bullpen? And I'm trying to explain to them that, one, yes, Maddox does have relationships with the bullpen pitchers, but me as a former starting pitcher and relief pitcher, we really have a better relationship with the pitching coach as a starting pitcher because we're having bullpen sessions with them. We're really working on our mechanics and we're working on pitch sequences. And we have a 15 to 20 minute meeting before the game starts over each hitter individually what I am doing. You're not having those meetings with relief pitchers. You are not having bullpen sessions with your relief pitchers because they have to be ready to pitch every time that they're ready to pitch. So can you maybe, Boch, explain a little bit more on a pitching coach's job with relief pitchers?
Well, I think that's fair to say. What you're talking about, the relationship with the starting pitchers and the pitching coach is probably a little bit closer because of the things you just talked about. Now, I'll add this, though. Mike does connect with everybody. We just don't have a meeting with the starting pitcher that day going over the game plan. There's a meeting before every series with the whole pitching staff, and Mike runs that. So that's his time to connect with everybody and talk about what the game plan is, righties and lefties, on how we want to attack hitters. And then he runs highlights. It's a really good meeting. It's engaging. He does spend time with them. Now, when you have, let's say, Will Smith or let's say Sporzy, who's kind of going through a tough stretch at times. Now, they'll do a touch and feel, whatever, with Mike. He's always looking at video to see if he can help them out too. But granted, it's not quite as much as a starting pitcher, but it's more so than what it used to be where pitching coach, really, spent time with that bullpen. I do think, with the, analytics and the added time in the meetings, there's a little better connection with the pitching coach and the bullpen.
Did y'all happen to have like a little ceremony for Corey Seager's bat last night? I saw that it broke, and it was one of those moments where it was like, oh my gosh, it seems like that bat's been around forever.
You know what? I didn't think about it. Yeah, we should have. That bat's been pretty good. We should have had a nice ceremony for it. It had some miles on it, didn't it? That thing probably weighed 40 ounces if you look at all the pines around it. But you know what? What's the saying? It fell on the sword, whatever. We got a base hit with that broken bat.
Now, we've been having some fun and celebrating Evan Carter's birthday today. Just turned 21, popped up to AAA. I was hoping you could kind of walk us through not just about Evan Carter, but about moving the bullpen pieces. Like, how does that communication go with you and Chris Young, or who else is involved about when a player is ready and what they can contribute to the big club?
Yeah, we'll see why he wants feedback. He'll call and he'll talk to us if it's pitching. Mike and I, if it's a position player, he's always asking what we need. What can I get you? Where's the club need help? Left-handed bat, right-handed bat, position player, whatever. So, that's what he's so good at. But with what's going on down there, we do rely on our development people in the front office, to give us who they think is ready, because they're watching them firsthand. We get reports and we can look at video, but still, and it's really up to the people that are watching them. Now, I do call Doug Davis, our AAA manager around Rock, and he'll run through the team, who's doing well, who he thinks can help us and stuff. So kind of keeps me up to date on what's going on down there. How nice was it to see Jonah get a couple hits last night? It felt like he's kind of been, trying to navigate his way back into this thing since the injury, and then a couple last night really seemed like it was a lift off his shoulders a little bit. I'm with you on that. Really, really nice. The grand slam, he really used his hands, got the head out, or the barrel of the bat out in front, and so that was good to see. Then yesterday, I thought he swung the bat well, and think he's ready to get bumped back to where he normally hits in the order with the bats that he's given us now. So his timing was off. I was worried, to be honest, if he was full strength, but we did some tests and everything. He assured us he wasn't hurting, so I think he shortened things up. It's just a tighter swing now, so he's off today. Though we're facing a left-hander, not quite ready from the right side. He is taking some swings in the cages, but not quite ready yet to face lefties.
Oh, that's good news. I was wondering, with the Aroldis Chapman third disengagement / he picked over that time, I know that you were having a conversation with the umpire afterwards, and Maddox was out there, and it looked like you guys might have wanted to go take a mound visit because Raul was out there possibly to help out. I was confused by kind of the whole situation. Were you confused on, was that a disengagement or a timeout by the hitter? Was that kind of the conversation you were having with the umpire?
Well, I'll be honest. I knew what happened. And, their base runner, Taylor, he did a great job of what you want your base runner to do once you've had two disengagements. Where we dropped the ball on it is Chappie. Whether Jonah or somebody should have told him, you cannot throw over now, because you're focused on the hitter. As a pitcher, you just kind of lose track of that, and lost track that Jonah called timeout. So Mike was heading out there, but it was kind of a stall tactic, to be honest, because we got Sporzy up just to give us coverage in case we wanted to use him. And so I just went out there because the conversation's getting a little long there. I just want to make sure that there wasn't something I was missing, but it was exactly, what we saw in the dugout. It, third engagement, and, that ended up hurting us. That's, again, a learning moment. You hate to, have a learning moment at that point in the game, but it was. And so we know that, hey, if that happens again, Jonah's got to tell him, or Mitch, whoever's catching, just remind the pitcher, don't throw over or disengage.
Now, yesterday, Chris Young answered the same Eovaldi question twice on our afternoon show, and it was a lot of fun there with that. But with Nathan Eovaldi, we kind of discussed the idea of a bullpen and potentially bringing him out of there because he's done that before. He's shown that. Is that a thought at all, or is that no? Our bullpen's what it is.
Well, I'm not going to say our bullpen's what it is. There could be some help in the bullpen when Nate comes back. It may not be him helping, but it could be somebody else that that may not be in the rotation. So Nate's coming along. He was really excited about how he felt yesterday. So don't have a target date for him, but playing right now as a starter. We saw how good he was as a starter, and
yes,
we do think this. I know it's been a bumpy ride down there, but we're getting things a little bit more in order. I just don't see Smitty continuing his struggles. If you look at Leclerc, Burke has been bumped up. He's handled that, and Chaffee's going to be the guy for the most part. And I know we lost some one-run games there, but still the stuff is great, and so he's why he's here, and I still think he's the guy that will probably run out there in the ninth inning more times than not.
I don't know if you had a chance to see this in the bigger baseball scale, but last night a couple of fans ran out in the field and knocked over Ronald Acuna. Do you ever have to have any kind of conversation about player safety with security or anything like that? Or do any players ever express concern to you about that? I know it doesn't happen a lot, but it was kind of scary.
Yeah, in spring training, we have a security meeting every year, and this is one of the topics that comes up. Do not engage with them. Stay away from them. Don't try to help. Don't, tackle them or anything. And, it's kind of I probably had to make Acuna a little nervous. At some point, I would have kept backing off and not let them get that close to me, because you don't know. You just don't know what they're on, or it's kind of a scary moment, and it happens so fast, and it doesn't matter probably how much security you have. But, there's so many areas in the ballpark that can jump on the field. So, but anyway, it's talked about, and best thing you do is stay away from them. And I guarantee you, if he'd have run, nobody's going to catch the guy. So,
right.
But, I think he just felt safe and said, "Hey, it's a couple of fans, whatever." But I think I would have kept them an arm's length away.
Man, excellent stuff as always. Congrats on the win last night, and here's to hoping the momentum goes beyond just our starting pitcher.
Right. So come on, Andrew. I'm looking forward to him pitching a great game, and see if we keep this thing going.
Thank you very much, good sir.
All right, guys. Thanks. Good talking with you.